everybody? This is Salvi here with the Vtuber news coming right up for you. Before that, of course, smash that subscribe button, hit that bell, and the like button as well, and let's get right into it. With the stuff that's been happening with Takahata 101, I want to show you guys who is involved in everything before I go over everything, before you see it in the video the way that it is. I'm just setting this beforehand so you guys can see who's involved. You have Takahata, the main person who was accused of S improprieties. They have accusations of allegations of S assault, that type of stuff. I say it for YouTube censors, of course. I say it that way. The person who accused him is MistressDoom. They talked to many people who knew Takahata. They talked to many people behind the scenes, to many people out there, and like Radioactive. They talked to Radioactive. They talked to Adora. Adora did the bad move, as you know, of putting all the allegations out there recently before she graduated, because she's graduated now, before she left, but with no actual proof, because everything was redacted. And then you have Alicia X-Death, who is, or Alicia X-Life, whichever one you want to call it, who is someone who is, who inserted themselves into this whole thing and opened their mouths when they probably just should not have done that. They started, they incorrectly, as you're going to see in the whole video, they incorrectly marked him as, an actual predator and that type of thing. Things are defamation and could actually be sued for. And we do have another person involved in this, Bo Sheep. She was a defender of Takahata since the beginning, since she saw every single one of the messages. She saw everything from beginning to end, as I'm going to show you as well. Everything from beginning to end, and was like, I need to see full proof. If I'm going to believe her side, I need to see full proof. And the other side did not show full proof. They just showed allegations, and they just showed, believe me. Like, believe me, yes, you believe victims. Yes, of course you do. I'm not saying don't, but with proof, with evidence. That's why there's a court of law, to show evidence, to show proof, and to get the person accused either exonerated, as in found innocent, or found guilty. That's what you do. That's why there's a court of law. But that didn't happen here. Unfortunately, that didn't happen here. And that is what I'm going to be going over in the whole thing. Takahata 101 is a VTuber who used to be an IRL streamer, if I'm not mistaken, who is very well known amongst the commentary community and amongst the community in general. They're very well respected. And as you know, a while back, there were some bad allegations that came out with no actual proof against him. And a lot of people took it as gospel, and a lot of people hurt him because of the way that they acted. They separated themselves from him, and like I said, took those words as gospel. He decided to be kind and not go against the person because they had their own mental health issues. The person who was saying all these things had their mental health issues. He did not want to deal with that. He did not want to be the negative person involved in that. So he decided to be the kinder person and not really do anything bad. But he decided finally, you know what? It's starting up again. People are attacking him now because remember recently he said that he did not say those things because he wanted to protect the person. The person didn't respond to their lawyer recently, to Takahata's lawyer. The fact that he got a lawyer means that he really wanted to fight this, and he really felt that this was wrong. He finally released something that says, my tumultuous relationship with MistressDoomvt. So we finally know the person who accused him and who sent all that kind of stuff. Emotional abuse, gaslighting, slander, defamatory accusations, de-use, accusations of assault as well. So there you go. Now, I had originally said I wanted to protect this individual due to concern for their mental health. However, due to recent events, which means basically lots of people started attacking him again, lots of people started spreading lies again, a lot of people started spreading lies again. I'll talk about some of them later. One of them later. Due to recent events, the fact that she has continued to use other creators to tell her story via grotesque misrepresentations of the facts, I am now forced to name her. I need to protect myself and those who have been dragged into the situation. And remember, as I mentioned, Bo Sheep was one of the people who protected him, who defended him. I have deep respect for Bo Sheep, and I respect her words. So that is why I was always leaning more towards this being a false allegation. Now he has receipts. And boy, does he have receipts. I'm gonna go over this. Some of these things that were mentioned, like the Bo Sheep thing. This is where you can see here. I'm gonna start off with this, where people sent to Bo Sheep about the R-word allegations, and of course she wants everything to be more official. She wanted to know if everything was because of the difficult situation that everything had actual backing. She did not want to discredit the person saying it or the person sending it to them, but the fact that they wanted to keep everything private and, you know, just basically have people not talk to Takahata anymore made her double think about all these things, why they didn't make it public if it was such a bad thing, and why they were trying to keep things, you know, on the DL, even though supposedly it was really bad. So yeah, all these things here are basically saying that she was like, this is a third party saying that they're doing the best, you know, the person that we now know, MistressDoomvt, is doing the best they can, etc. And she even had some calls, and she's saying, you know, it's a very serious situation. I need to be able to see both sides. I need to be able to make sure that there's no mistakes, that type of thing. So Boship was still giving the benefit of the doubt to the other person, but did want to make sure that there was nothing there that would be, you know, misconstrued in any way. I am going to be going over this not in extreme detail, but kind of giving you a rundown, a quick bits of it, because of course, if I did the full rundown, it'd be an hour. I take my time with these things. Usually it would be an hour long. I know a lot of people don't have that time, so I will still give it the respect it deserves, but I will try to shorten it up a bit. This is basically the main one that I want to say here. It's been a sad and most difficult periods of my life. I have been hugely hurt by a wonderful person I loved for 9 years. I have been the target of allegations, speculation, ill-informed judgment, and malicious rumor, all of which have been untrue and which unfortunately I do have the evidence to disprove. One special person have been source of this, but they carry no blame. Others who have fed jackal-like on the scraps they have found, perhaps do. There are many people. You know who you are. You a-holes know who you are. The people who have fed on this for clout, in the sense of fed on the negativity of it, fed on, oh, look at this person, he's horrible, fed on that part for clout, fed on the allegations being true for clout. You know who you are, and he deserves an apology from you guys, every single one of you guys. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna talk about all this thing. Basically, they go through all these things about, you know, the lies that have been told about him, the fact that this was supposed to be a wonderful, tender relationship, of course, with intimacy, some erotic times and that kind of stuff, which happens with every type of relationship. It was a strong fire that bloomed within him and the person that he was interested in, and the person that he was having a relationship with. They'd known EJ for 9 years. They met them a long time ago with different, you know, conventions, different things like that. They had feelings for them a long time ago. They were in a relationship when those feelings developed, but they of course never acted on those feelings while they were in the relationship, because out of respect for the relationship that they had. Eventually, the relationship that they originally had did not pan out. It ended up, you know, not working out. They decided to start trying to work things out with EJ, trying to work things and trying to engage in a relationship slowly. And of course, they start with this anticipation. All these parts, they have mountains and mountains of evidence how, you know, they're talking about meeting up together. They're talking about all these fun things. The gray is EJ, the blue is him. He's reassuring her with all these things, you know, like, you're going to be good, everything's going to be great, you're going to work well, you're going to have fun, all these things. So they continued trying to make everything, making dates, going to London, where they would meet up. And basically EJ was saying that there's insecurities about, you know, going far, and she wanted to stay closer to home, things like that. And of course, here is him continuing that, saying that they were having the trip, they were going to be together, they all the work that he was putting in to making sure the trip worked, her not showing any disinterest, her not showing anything that's like, oh my god, this is horrible, etc. None of that kind of stuff was going on. Continues on, of course, in this next part here. She did mention to him that she had medical issues, and she had, you know, some things with her animals, and wasn't able to come out as much, and started making excuses, started gaslighting, started saying these different things to kind of make him, I guess, second guess himself, making it seem like maybe he's pressuring her too much or whatever. So once they landed, of course, there were excuses that were here about, you know, sedatives and other things like that, about him taking sedatives, her being unsure, her having her own insecurities, things like that. So it kept going, and, you know, things started seeming a little bit different, a little bit interesting. Basically, he had traveled a lot. He seemed very disappointed about what was going on. They did speak at length on the phone. They always spoke a lot on the phone. And they all mutually agreed for them to come out, purchase tickets for the train. Again, more evidence here of purchasing tickets for the train, her not seeming to have any kind of issues with that, her seeming to be perfectly fine with going out with him. They also, of course, did spend time in a hotel together, and this is where the big issues started in regards to the hotel and the allegations that came after that. This is the big part here that everybody grabbed onto when she mentioned it on her side. So this is what I'm going to hit right now. We are at the point in all of this where they have already chatted for a while. They are, like I said here, they're going to the hotel room. They never, ever, ever suggested that they were getting apprehensive about any intimacy. When they got to the hotel room, she said she wasn't in the right headspace. But now that the travel was over, she would chill out. She had said once the travel concluded, her anxiety would calm down. Waiting for snacks. He did everything to try to reassure her, to try to make sure she was calm. She was, in a good headspace, in a good place. Never any pressure, never anything like that. They did grow closer and more intimate during that time. Never, ever, ever did they ever seem like they had any kind of bad things going on, any kind of like, no, I don't want this intimacy, etc. They continued on. Every act they gave consent, 3 separate consents for 3 separate acts. So every single time he wanted to reassure her and make sure, hey, is this okay? Do you want to continue with this? We can stop at any time, that type of thing. They were conveyed to me that everything was fine and nothing to worry about. Fell asleep afterwards, wasn't sure. She woke me up and said she wanted to go home towards the end of the day. That's normal. They went to the British Museum as well. Didn't pressure her to stay. That day went to the British Museum. This was the activity she truly wanted to do. And of course, we do have these things that they're mentioning here, which is the museum and day after. Again, showing that they went, that they did their stuff, that they went and had their fun. Talking about the one thing that kept popping up is the dog was always sick every single time that they talked to him. I think they were using dog as an excuse, but yeah, they were very talkative, as you can see here. Mid-unite game, not sure what I meant to say. I didn't know how hard it would be for me, but it's rough for I think my mental health issues are well hidden. I appreciate your messaging me. Appreciate everything you were willing to power through. I'm sorry that I'm not communicating better. Basically, nothing like, basically saying, yeah, the same issues that they had before about, insecurities of going out places, that type of thing, but never anything about their intimacy. I'm never seeing anything here about the intimacy. They were talking more like normal people. They were talking like everything like that. No, like, oh my God, I can't believe what you did last night, that type of thing. They continued, basically kept trying to make her feel comfortable, kept trying to make her feel okay, kept trying to make sure that she was fine. She also shared the extent of her past trauma, panic attacks, PTSD. We find out later on that she, that she apparently had a live-in carer 24/7, had a lot of other issues that she did not disclose. That it is not on Takahata to know absolutely everything that's going on in this person's life. That basically after the intimacy, he learned about all these history of this type of stuff, horrible things that had happened to her, and he was fine with her being friends from then on. He was fine with everything moving on, but again, nothing to indicate here that there was anything negative going on. Nothing to indicate here that she didn't like him anymore, that she was apprehensive on him. It says obvious that you care, you just didn't know how bad my anxiety problems really were. Glad it's helping. I've been replying between unite matches. It's slow. Basically, he was saying no problem. There's nothing wrong here. Just have to make sure you're okay. That type of thing. Because you ain't wrong. They're family with me, so we're gonna take you bowling. Basically, again, friendship things. Nothing here to indicate that there was like, oh my God, you did this horrible thing to me. Next day, she sent an unambiguous message expanding upon her text the previous day. Shocked to me, heartbroken to my core. Felt the romantic split was amicable and hoped that our long-standing friendship will stay strong. Thoroughly devastated, I told her that I understood and respected her where she was coming from, and wanted to visit her. She still wanted him to visit her town later, as mentioned here. All of this is in the actual thing. You can actually find it on Takahata's, on his, where he posted the Google Doc, which is his Twitter, as I had shown before. I want to clear it up tonight. Head to London tomorrow in case you decide you don't want me to come, but I'm heading back to London as a friend. Basically mentioning the whole friend thing. He's like, I appreciate you telling me. Everything's fine. I understand that. No more romance. No more things like that. Everything was going good. Then it's like, then we talked about it coming to AEW show, basically continuing watching wrestling, that type of thing. Again, nothing seemingly wrong here. Nothing seemingly wrong in any of these things. Happy to go to the events, happy to go do the things that they're doing. And the fact that I'm not, that I'm showing what he's showing, he wants to make this public. It is fine for everything to be public. These are things that he needs to do to defend himself. I'm not redacting anything here because that is the way it should be when you have these things out there. At the point of just watch the show and head back to your hotel, grab stuff. Basically, just continuing regular conversations. Don't want you to do anything you're not comfortable with. If you come up for the full event, I would go to the back of the hotel and see you off. Yeah, I'm uncomfortable doing the underground on my own and taking Uber. So it's not about him at this point. It's about other things, about other things that are making her anxious, etc. Now, apparently she has a live-in caretaker. He didn't know that before. He finds that out way later, after the relationship ended, after they became friends. He found out about the live-in caretaker. He found out about all these other things. Of course, once he arrived home, and after everything was said and done, all these, the AEW show, everything seemed fine. He found out about the accusations. If you can go flight home early, blah, blah, blah. No, you're probably super stressed from the trip and everything like that. Do not wish to work with Vaughn channel any longer, so please take this as myself and Jimmy resigning effective immediately. I know I'm still recovering, blah, blah, blah. He continues here. Big one happened Thursday, really wasn't okay. I genuinely need to know that you understand that your actions weren't okay. All of a sudden popping this on him. After everything seemed fine. After no issues, no. She dropped consent about a week or so afterwards. You don't do that. That's not right. That's fucked up. I'm just gonna be honest with you. That's fucked up. If you drop consent during the act, you can be like, no, I'm no longer comfortable with this. That's fine. That's cool. That's allowed. That's perfectly fine. He would have respected that. You don't drop consent a week or two after that. You do not do that. That is bullshit. That is not right. That is not legit. You are hurting other actual victims by doing this and saying that it's horrible because you dropped consent a week afterwards. Used to be friends, so I'm giving you a chance to do what you literally can to make accountability. Not a good headspace, and he knew that. I was drugged up on sedatives for my panic attack. The thing is, look, I think she was on Xanax. If you're on Xanax and you know it's going to get you that way, you don't put yourself in those situations, number one. But let's say you do. You let the person know, I'm not in the right headspace. You let them know right there. He had no idea. You gave consent 3 times. It's not his responsibility at that point. It's not his responsibility to know what's going on in your head. You are the one who's supposed to communicate. You are the one who's supposed to put everything out there. Nah. She suddenly says she wasn't in the right headspace when everything seemed fine right there. So she is trying to find excuses, trying to find reasons to vilify him at this point. I just wanted to be friends with you, told me I had to let you on. That was afterwards. Now she's gaslighting him and making him feel like he did something wrong. This is a huge gaslight here. And then it says, doesn't matter, we've been sexual via text. In person, you should have respected me and my boundaries. He did. You gave consent. He respected your boundaries. Afterwards, when you became friends, he respected your boundaries. No, I wasn't okay. Here's the big thing. Spoken to my therapist and support groups, and I know it wasn't okay. That is where suddenly she had the cold feet. That is where she suddenly had the, oh my God, this was wrong. But that's after the fact. That's way after the fact. You cannot remove consent after the fact. You gave consent in that moment. He thought you were in the right headspace. You're apparently in the right headspace to give consent. He didn't feel there are certain cues to when someone is sedated that you didn't give off those cues. So no. You can't go and do this. Again, awful. Never want anyone to feel this way. Mortified at the prospect of taking advantage of anyone's body and autonomy. When I asked for consent throughout the entire process, at any moment I received a signal from you that it was not okay, would have stopped. Firmly believe the consent could be revoked at any point in the actual act, not afterwards. Which is why I asked every step of the way. Sorry for any hurt. He takes a lot of responsibility. And yeah, she doesn't care. It seems like she doesn't care at this point. When I say I thought your anxiety reaction was everything on Thursday was about me being away from home, Again, you have to communicate. If you don't communicate, the other side has no freaking clue what the hell's happening. You can't go and do this and pop this on somebody. And of course, what she told everybody else about, oh, this wasn't good. He didn't respect the boundaries. He did the act while I was sedated, etc. Not anything about before that. And that's what's really messed up there. And of course, he takes a lot of responsibility here. He says, at no point did she suggest that she had any issues with being intimate during the fact or after the fact. Everything, as you saw, we showed the evidence. Everything seemed to be okay. Everything seemed to be fine. He's still processing the heartbreak, profoundly shocked and filled with sadness when, after my visit 5 months later, EJ began sharing claims with several of the mutual friends that she alleged that, he was impropriety, that all this bad stuff was happening. And then you had tons of people attacking him on those claims without hearing his side. He wanted to protect her, but after it kept happening again and again, and his name got dragged through the mud again and again, especially recently, he couldn't do it. And I'm proud of him for coming forward and taking responsibility for the things he did mess up on, but also realizing, man, you really, revoking consent a week after or 2 weeks after, whatever it is, that's not right. You don't do that. So I do believe him because he has all the proof here. He has all the receipts here. I absolutely believe him. And that he didn't do anything wrong. And that all the cues, all the things were there. There are a lot of people who go to work on Xanax. There are a lot of people who have a daily life on Xanax. Those sedatives and stuff like that are to lower anxiety. Unless you OD on them, unless you're taking extremely over medicating, then that is when he becomes extremely sedated. But there are visual cues, audio cues, things like that anyone would know. And he didn't see that, and he asked for consent 3 times. So yeah, no, I think it's okay for her to feel that it was wrong afterwards, but you cannot go and say that he actually assaulted you this way. You can't go and do that. In the document, Mistress Doom is mentioned as the person who they were having romantic stuff with. Mistress Doom, as you can see here, has shown her face on her actual channel, on her actual everything, so it is not doxing to show the face during this time. You need to make sure that it's not fake, that kind of stuff. You can show the face, so that's why I didn't blur out the face when you saw it inside of the document. She comes out and she responds to, or at least the carer responds to Mistress Doom in the whole thing. It says, some of you know me as Jimmy, posting this statement on her account. Finally a chance to speak after a year and a bit of suffering from someone's actions. Will kind of speak. Active investigation. Nothing about this case should be public, as it in the hands of the police. The thing is, that's UK law. He's not bound by UK law. He's not in the UK, so he can do this. And in fact, I believe he lives in a one-party state, which means that in his state, you cannot sue him. You can try to sue him in the UK, but he's not a citizen of the UK. He's not a resident of the UK, so it won't work, buddy. This has been a police case since August 2024. If it's a police case, let it keep going. Publicly posting the document is a crime that breaks the S Offences Amendment Act. Now, he's not bound by that act. States alleged victim of that type of stuff is granted anonymity for life as soon as they report, which it did back in August, and that's probably why she reported. This is just my idea. I mean, the fact that she puts this out here seems like maybe it was a premeditated act to report it that way, so that any improprieties and things like that can stay silent for life. She can have anonymity while he gets hit with reputational damage. This is just after the fact when I'm thinking. If it actually does get shown to be a bad act legally, then that's what happens legally. I would love to be able to share my story evidence, however, all been in police since August 2024. You speak to the officer in charge to be able to see what's going to happen. Court of public opinion, you want evidence, but what Taka did was a crime. You guys put it in court of public opinion first by doing these allegations and doing these accusations and sending it to people privately. So you don't get to act like the victim here in this case, in my opinion, about the court of public opinion at least. Taka did a crime being handled by the police. Twitter's also been made aware this post is a crime. Unfortunately, it was around midnight. He did this, so neither the police officers are involved in the investigation or the advocate are awake. None of this public and never wanted to go public or want anyone to know, but I was the victim of that. But you did send it to friends. So you kind of did go public already. Now you can give the evidence right away. A second, police have the phone logs, his lawyers' letters since the end of January, which is what he did say that he did contact her. Spoke with them. They were actively pursuing the investigation. I've given no permission to share the story. You don't have to in this case. He doesn't live in the UK. Claiming they have heard my side and spoken to me, you're lying. I have proof of everything. A claim is just tied to a police case, which will provide proof as soon as the officers in charge of the case and my advocate are awake. But no, I wouldn't have a police officer in charge and our crisis advocate for nothing. Once again, this is a police case. None of this be shown publicly, and outing my name is a crime. Please allow me the space to speak with the police and advocate, blah, blah, blah. So she just keeps saying crime. But one, he's not bound by the UK law. Two, I think the UK law, during investigation, yes, they should be kept anonymous in the UK, I guess. That you can only protect yourself in the UK. You can't protect yourself elsewhere because the UK laws do not spread to the US. They do not spread to other countries. They do not. Unless he broke the law in the UK and, that kind of is breaking the law actively in the UK. It's really interesting, but usually unless you are a UK citizen, you cannot be even made to go into a court of law in the UK for any kind of sentencing or anything like that. Do not currently consent to anyone speak, maybe in like serious situations. I'm not a lawyer, so I may be speaking out of my ass and I may be stupid in this stuff, but this is the way I see it. People responding, I don't know or follow either of you, so I hope my words are taken into consideration. That's some misunderstanding. 1, you made it public by talking about it to others, who then spread it from there. 2, why would you correspond with his attorneys or get your own? Why would you not correspond with his attorneys or get your own? Many people made it public, made postings because of what you said or on your behalf. Anonymity was lost at that point. I think many of us are going to need something concrete after what he showed. If your recollection is correct, I'm sorry you went through all that, and I hope you heal. That's the main thing. That's the main thing that I'm putting out there. If, all this is correct and all this stuff has happened, then of course I feel bad. I hope they heal. But they made it public first, and they're crying now because they look bad now. That's what it is. They're crying now because they look bad now. Why not correspond with the lawyers? Why not have your own lawyers? If you feel it's such a bad thing, why not have your own lawyers? After the fact, you decided it was a very bad thing. After the fact, with therapists and everything, you decided it was a bad thing. Afterwards, you decided to revoke consent, which is not the way things work legally. So I don't think you have a legal foot to stand on. But why not have your lawyers talk to his? Why stay quiet? Why just evade the law for so long and now have the law trying to back you up? So yeah, need more proof. He showed all of his proof. You show yours. Proof for proof. That's just the way it goes. He showed all the proof, all the receipts, all the stuff. He took responsibility for some things, maybe not reading certain cues. He took responsibility for that, but he got consent every single time. So yeah, you're gonna have to come with more than this. Honestly, you're really gonna have to come with more than this. All that was said and done, we still have people like Alicia going out here and saying that they still, he did something wrong. He did all these horrible things. Says victim doesn't want to be public, so I have gone into detail about what happened. Supported me saying more in the past, but I still refused to because I was worried about her stability. But I will say now, using your prior, okay with me saying this. Taka told me to call. He had blank with a woman. This was after he found out that she has under sedatives. She is absolutely misconstruing this whole thing. She's absolutely using words. She is using her words to make him seem like an actual predator. This is evil. This is mean. This is the way I take it, but this is the way that she's seeing. This is after the fact. He didn't know immediately, as we saw with this is why I mentioned this after we know everything. Because he had to come out, because she said this before he mentioned the whole, before he did this whole Google Doc, but because she said this, he had to put out his Google Doc. Because he had S with a woman who was under sedatives. This makes this is, oh my God, this is putting things in such a wrong way. To make people be like, oh my God, he's a predator. She has 24/7 caretaker. She was mentally cannot take care of herself. He did not find that out until way later, until the accusations came out. Her mother handed her off to him when he came to see her. But that just like he said in the thing, just made it seem like, okay, she doesn't like traveling alone. So that's why the mom came with her at those moments. And the day she said she wanted to blank herself, go on a train ride to him, and he tried to make sure that she was okay. People have low moments. He never wanted things at that moment when that happened. When she got to the hotel, she took a lot of pills in front of him. Look, my parents take tons of pills. Does that mean that they are, because they have certain medical conditions, does that mean they can't consent? I don't think so. There's none of this. No. My parents take sedatives too for anxiety and things like that. No. I take sedatives too for anxiety and things like that. I can still come here and talk to you guys. I still am 100% aware of my surroundings. It's just, no. This is after the fact. It's just really mean. He himself stated he saw her take the pills. This is what Taka told me himself. Never spoken directly to the victim, but I've only talked to him to make my decision. And as people have said here, part of them solely based on my conversation with him. She took everything wrong. This was when he was attacking himself, when he was second guessing himself after the fact. So this is just messed up. It says, what an abysmal cherry-picked description of events you could have chosen. You did not see the tons of messages that took place between the alleged and this accused, and still you chose to weigh in on this. You can choose not to comment on something if you don't know. Confused why you say that when we're told the same thing by Taka. Why? They had Junk defend? Because Junk saw all the stuff that we saw as well. So yeah, no. This looks really bad. Bo Sheep came. This is the most disgustingly inaccurate summary of the situation. You haven't seen the hundreds of text messages between them before and after they slept together. Or that she also admitted to others as having given him consent. He had no idea she was on sedatives. So yeah, she gave him consent. She said she gave him consent during the moment. But afterwards, it's like, oh my God, this should never have happened, blah, blah, blah. You cannot revoke consent a week afterwards. You can't do that. You can't really do that. Honestly. This isn't the way consent works. This isn't the way consent works. I won't say this confirms my thought on the interchangeable use of sedative and pills, but it leans heavily that way. Exactly. She was taking pills. Maybe not even sedatives. She was taking Xanax. I'm not sure if Xanax is sedative. I take sedatives so my anxiety will lower, but I'm functional. I'm 100% functional. If you're not, you shouldn't be going out. If you're not, then you should let other people know, hey, I'm taking sedatives. This makes me not functional. And that way. The communication wasn't there. It's not his fault. At that point, it's not his fault. He can't suddenly become victim, and he can't suddenly become a perpetrator or a predator after the fact when all the signs pointed to you being okay, all the signs pointing to you not being sedated and being able to give consent. You gave informed consent. You gave consent openly and not like it's sedated in any way, not slurring your speech in any way. So you were giving consent normally. You can't revoke it afterwards. You cannot do that, man. That's just... You can technically, I mean, if you want to, but consent does not work that way. It just does not work that way. It's really, man, this is just really messed up. Be getting blocked because of this, but it doesn't matter. You should not have done this. This is low. Even for anybody, even for a supposed friend of Taka, this is low. You don't go and misconstrue the whole situation to make Taka seem worse like this. You don't go and do that. And this is Alicia talking about it on her channel, which she made it public before even Takahata did. So yeah, again, this is continuing from the part that I had before of her opening her mouth. And let's see what she says here.
Right? Because that's what you should do for your friends. You should hear them out, no matter how bad the situation is. You give them the chance to explain themselves. After hearing his perspective, I ended the friendship. And
Takahata, of course.
Yeah, it was a lot. And it's not my place to say what happened because it's someone else's story to tell. Just know that I am uncomfortable. And I don't want him to be brought up further with me. I don't want to interact with him. Since I ended my friendship with him, he has no longer posted videos or uploaded on Twitter anymore because of the incident. And I know that...
The accusations that he was trying to, do stuff. But he was also getting his lawyers involved. That's why.
There's going to be a lot of curiosity. I totally understand that. Because listen, if I was a fan, I'd be like, what the fuck happened, right? I totally understand curiosity, but again, not gonna, yeah. So, yes, that's where I am on that. A lot of people have been asking me about Dragon Ball Z Abridged. I thought about continuing it. It's just a little hard because he voices one of the main characters for the next arc for Cell Saga.
So she always claims that she's not making it public, that she didn't make it public, etc. Like Alicia, that she was trying to keep it private. But by saying who it was at that point, this was 4 months ago, you already knew it was Takahata. Because who else does Dragon Ball Z Abridged? Who else is one of the main characters in Dragon Ball Z Abridged? And had accusations.
It makes me just really uncomfortable even listening to him now because of what I know. And it's just a lot. And I realized that I don't think I can mentally go through that. And the only reason I did not take down my YouTube videos with him was because I didn't want this to become some stupid VTuber drama bullshit. You know what I mean? You know when you start deleting videos and the VTuber...
Oh, you don't want it to be a VTuber drama BS, yet you're making a VTuber drama BS right here.
Drama channels go, ooh, what's the tea? It's like, no, this is serious.
You just did that. You just did that.
This is real life. And I feel like, yeah. That sounds like...
Let's see what else she says.
Hello? Feel free to enlighten the class if you know the situation, though. Because I'm 100% sure you don't, but go for it.
Then she starts attacking her chat because they're like, you don't know everything. You're just talking too much. You're like, the chat is not liking it. And is not supporting her. And then she's getting a bit defensive here.
Person who's going to say something that has nothing to do with it. Go ahead, random chatter. Go for it.
Here you could tell the smugness. She's 100% sure of her side, yet she was proven wrong with Takahata's announcement. So she was proven wrong again.
Bro has no clue. I know. Insane. Motherfucker, you just lowered the IQ of the chat room. God damn. That's crazy. Like, what the fuck? I watched that shit happen in real time. I promise you, you have no idea what the fuck happened. And I promise you that. That's not even up for debate. That's insane.
Oh yeah,
you know how I know you don't know? Like, I'll leave this VOD up, so if you guys want to scrub through the VOD and, like, listen back to it, you can. I'm not going to hide the VOD, so you guys look back on it if you want to. I just want to repeat myself over again for it.
Like, you don't know jack squat.
Oh, My Hero Vigilante? Yeah. I will continue The Walking Dead. Die! It's the Alicia curse. Jerry, the hero, thanks for $2.
So yeah, she opened her mouth. She didn't know all the story. All she knew was the conversation that she had with Takahata when Takahata was beating himself up over what ended up happening, the accusations that ended up popping up right here, where, you know, he was accused of, you know, messing with her, messing with the person, MistressDoomvt, when she was not consenting, but he had gotten consent 3 times. So she did not know the whole story. She doubles down, she triples down, and that is just not a good look. So Alicia, I know you're probably going to block me after this, but it seriously is not a good look. You should not have spoken out when you did, but you did because, as you said, there's drama channels, etc. You became one at that moment. It seemed to me like you were trying to get a little bit of moral superiority in that type of situation. You're trying to feel that moral superiority, in my opinion. And I don't like that. I don't like when people do that. Welcome back, everybody, to the VTuber Showcase, the place where I like to showcase up-and-coming VTubers of various sizes, shapes, forms, types, everything in between. The reason why I do this is because I want it to be a good place for VTubers, a place where we can actually, you know, lift each other up instead of tear each other down. Today we're talking about Smorie, Snow Leopard VTuber, who is, of course, welcome to the Snow Tree. We have them here on their Twitch, where we can see they are part of Eldenwood team. Welcome to the Snow Tree of Smorie of Slitty Diamond Snow Leopard, here to enjoy some streaming fun when I'm off work. Captions are enabled for the stream. Just see CC next to the settings gear in the video player. And here we go. This is a little tidbit of what they do.
Oh my God, buddy, kill Chris.
You're about to go in the sun.
I know,
Yeah,
but
go in the sun.
I gotta
Run!
I don't have stamina.
Oh my God!
It's so hot! It's so hot! Ow! Oh wait, there's fruit. Tech, I need you to pull my thorns out. I'm hungry.
Okay, we find another one. You gotta do the same for me.
So much pain, so much pain. I believe me, I do know the pain with Peak. Yeah, you're in that desert zone. You get screwed over so badly. So here we go. We're Smorie right here. They do primarily their shorts is what they have on their YouTube side, but I have it here available in case if you want to take a look at it. Thank you so much, Smorie, for allowing me to showcase you on my YouTube channel here, and I do hope that this helps you in some way. Thank you guys for watching as always, and of course take a look, and if you enjoy everything, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, all those things that YouTube asks of you. Really do appreciate you. Have a wonderful day.